Start where you are. Learn to work with what you have. Written and narrated by Audiobook Haven. Welcome to Start Where You Are. This isn't just another motivational audiobook. This is a permission slip, a spark, a wake-up call. Most people never begin because they're waiting for the perfect moment. But the truth? You already have enough to begin. Right now. This book will give you two things: a powerful mindset shift and real, practical tools to help you move forward today. Let's go. Introduction. The power of starting small. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever caught yourself thinking something like this? I'll start once I have more time. I just need a better phone, a mentor, some money, a degree. Now's not the right moment. It's just too much right now. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Most people never actually begin chasing their dreams, not because they lack talent or passion or purpose, but because they're waiting for the perfect moment. Waiting until things settle down. Waiting until they feel more confident. Waiting for permission. But here's the truth nobody told us in school. Perfect moments don't exist. They're not coming. And they never were. Why most people never start? The graveyard is full of unwritten books, unsung songs, unlaunched businesses, and unlived dreams, not because people didn't want to create something meaningful, but because they believed they needed to be more before they could begin. More prepared, more educated, more connected, more ready. But readiness isn't a place you arrive at. It's a lie perfectionism tells you to keep you small. If you're waiting until you feel fully confident, you'll be waiting forever. The myth of the perfect moment. Let me break this down simply. Action creates clarity. Progress builds confidence. Momentum crushes fear. You don't wait for the right moment. You create it by starting. That tiny first step? It might feel insignificant, but it's the spark. The click. The seed. And seeds don't look like much. They're small, dirty, unimpressive, but give them time, and they push through concrete. You already have enough to begin. Here's what I need you to hear, deep in your bones. You are not empty. You are not starting from scratch. You are starting from experience, from lessons, from inner strength. You already have enough to begin. Look around. You've got tools. Maybe not all the ones you think you need, but enough. You've got time, maybe not hours, but minutes. You've got people, maybe not mentors, but someone who'll believe in you. You've got grit, drive, passion, and the ability to learn. Don't underestimate what's already in your hand. You don't need a mansion to build a foundation. You just need one solid brick. What this book will do for you. This audiobook is not just a motivational pep talk. It's a mindset reset plus practical action plan. You'll learn how to flip limitations into leverage, how to train a resourceful, possibility-driven mindset, how to stop procrastinating by waiting for readiness, how to take consistent, bold action starting today. You'll hear stories of real people, people with no money, no connections, no fancy degree, who built amazing things by starting exactly where they were. This book is a mirror and a map. A mirror to help you see what's already inside you. A map to guide your next step, because success is built step by step, not all at once. Final word before we begin. You might feel behind. You might feel unqualified. You might feel stuck. That's okay. Let's start there. Wherever you are today, that's your launch pad. Let's move forward, boldly, imperfectly, and powerfully. This is your moment. Not because it's perfect, but because you're done waiting. Chapter 1. The myth of readiness. Stop waiting. Start now. If I could sit across from you right now, look you in the eyes, and say just one thing, it would be this. You are more ready than you think. Seriously, that goal you've been thinking about for months, maybe years, the one you keep pushing to next week, after I get my life together, or when I finally feel ready. Here's the truth. You don't need to feel ready to start. You become ready by starting. Readiness is a lie perfectionism tells you. Let's be real. Most of us don't delay starting because we're lazy. We delay because we're scared. Scared to fail. Scared to look stupid. Scared we'll mess it up. Scared we won't be as good as them. So we tell ourselves, let me just wait a little longer, until I'm more confident, more skilled, more prepared. But guess what? Confidence doesn't come before action. It's built through action. You don't become fearless before you start speaking. You speak, even with the fear, and that's how you grow. You don't become a pro before you start a business. You start the business awkwardly, imperfectly, and that's how you become a pro. Think about this. Have you ever looked back on something you thought you weren't ready for and realized I could have started this way earlier? Exactly. Starting messy equals starting powerfully. Here's what the top performers in life know. The people who win aren't the ones who waited. They're the ones who moved, while they were nervous, uncertain, and underprepared. They started with bad websites, awkward first videos, basic business plans, cringeworthy writing, wobbly workouts, flawed ideas. But they started, and that's what changed everything. Nobody builds a masterpiece on the first try. You have to make the bad version before you can make the better version. Action creates clarity. Let's flip the script. What if your problem isn't a lack of clarity? What if clarity is something you earn by taking action? We think we need to figure it all out first, but life doesn't work like a GPS. You don't get turn-by-turn instructions up front. You get the next step, then the next one appears once you move. That scary goal you've been avoiding? You don't need to know the full path. You just need to take the first bold step. Let me introduce you to Maya. Single mom, 2 jobs, 0 time. She had a dream of becoming a wellness coach, but she kept saying, once I finish this course, once I have more time. One day, she decided, enough. She recorded a 60-second voice note about stress and posted it on her Instagram story. That one post led to her first 3 coaching clients. She wasn't ready, but she started, and that made all the difference. Or James laid off from his job during a recession. No savings, no network, just a laptop and a hunger to write. He started a blog with 0 readers, kept writing badly at first. 2 years later, he's ghostwriting books for 6-figure entrepreneurs. What changed? He moved, even when he felt stuck. Next time you hear yourself saying, I'm not ready, try replacing it with, I'm scared, but I'll move anyway, because that's where growth lives. On the edge of what makes you nervous. Readiness is not a signal to wait. It's an excuse to avoid discomfort. And discomfort? That's the gym where success gets built. Reflection. What's one thing you've been postponing because you don't feel ready? Write it down. Be honest. Action step. Break it into the smallest possible step and do it today. Not when you feel perfect. Not when you feel brave. Just today. Examples. Want to start a podcast? Record a 60-second voice memo. Want to start a business? Post one offer to your WhatsApp or IG story. Want to get fit? Do 5 push-ups right now. The goal isn't to be great today. The goal is to start today, so you can become great over time. You don't need to feel ready. You need to feel the fear and move anyway. That's where the shift begins. And you're already on your way. Let's keep going. Chapter 2. You have more than you think. Inventory your hidden resources. We live in a world obsessed with more. More followers. More money, more time, more education, more support. And somewhere along the way, we've started to believe that until we have more, we can't begin. But here's the truth. It's not about what you lack. It's about what you're not seeing. Right now, in this moment, you already have tools, talents, and traits that are more powerful than you realize. You're just not using them yet. Let's be honest for a moment. How often have you said something like, I'd launch my idea, but I don't have enough money. I'd start this journey, but I don't have the right connections. I'd chase this dream, but I don't have the time. These aren't facts. They're fears. They're stories your mind tells you to keep you safe, but small. What if the real problem isn't your lack of resources, but your lack of resourcefulness? What you already have. Let's take a second to flip the script and list what's already in your hands. Time. Maybe not endless hours, but 20 minutes? You've got that. Energy. Not every day, but some days. Use those days wisely. Skills, things you take for granted, writing, organizing, speaking, tech savviness. Experiences, your wins, your losses, your past, it all carries power. People, maybe not famous ones, but supportive ones. Or even just one. Access, you've got a phone, the internet. You can reach the world. Ideas, that one insight you have could change your life if acted on. You don't need a fancy setup to get started. You need awareness. You need to recognize the value in what looks normal. Your ordinary is someone else's genius. What comes easy to you might be a struggle for someone else. That random skill you learned from YouTube, that way you solve problems, that unique perspective shaped by your story, it's all currency. Stop dismissing what you know. Start valuing what you bring. You don't need to master everything. You just need to master what's already inside you. Reframing lack into leverage. Let's look at a few powerful examples. Sarah wanted to start a fashion brand. But she couldn't afford a factory or a team. So she started by hand-sewing simple head wraps at home and selling them on Instagram. She didn't have capital, but she had creativity and consistency. Today, her brand ships internationally. David dreamed of being a motivational speaker, but didn't have a platform. So he started speaking to his mirror, then his phone camera, then posted 30-second clips online. Now, he's booked out for conferences across the country. They didn't wait to get more. They used what they already had. You are the resource. Here's what nobody teaches in school. You are the greatest resource you'll ever have. Not your tools, not your network, not your bank account, your mind, your drive, your perspective, your resilience. Tools can be taken. Trends can change. Tech can fail. But your ability to think, learn, create, and adapt, that's your forever advantage. So before you chase new stuff, take inventory of what's already in your toolbox. You might be sitting on gold without even knowing it. The resource reality sheet. Let's put this into action. Grab a sheet of paper or open your notes app. Title it, My Resource Reality. Break it into categories. Skills I have, tools I can access, people I can reach out to, knowledge I've gained, experiences I've learned from, time/energy I can commit, opportunities around me right now. Don't filter. Don't judge. Just list. You'll be amazed at what shows up. Reflection. What's one resource you've been underestimating in your life? How can you flip it from something ordinary into something powerful? Action step. Complete your resource reality sheet today. Then choose one thing from it and put it to use this week. Examples. Use your public speaking skill to pitch your idea at work. Use your phone to record your first short-form video. Use your Excel skills to help someone and build goodwill or even a side hustle. Use your lived experience to write a blog, a post, or a chapter. Remember this. You're not empty. You're overflowing. But you can't activate what you don't acknowledge. Chapter 3. Use the dirt to build the foundation. Turning pain into power. There's a strange thing life does. It doesn't just hand you your dreams with a ribbon on top. It hands you dirt. Hardships. Delays. Disappointments. Failures. Breakups. Layoffs. Moments where everything feels like it's falling apart. But what if the dirt wasn't there to bury you? What if it was there to grow you? The soil of struggle. You've probably heard that phrase before. Bloom where you're planted. But what happens when the soil is toxic? When it feels like life planted you in rock bottom? Let me remind you. Some of the deepest roots grow in the hardest ground. Trees don't anchor themselves in perfect soil. They push through the dirt, the gravel, the pressure. And the deeper the roots, the taller they rise. The same goes for you. Your struggles are strength training. Right now, you may be walking through a storm. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe a relationship broke you. Maybe you failed so many times you stopped trying. But those aren't signs that you're done. They're the evidence that you're being prepared. Every setback is a setup for a stronger comeback. If you choose to see it that way, pain can either paralyze you, or it can forge you into someone powerful. The underdog advantage. Let me tell you a story. Isaac was broke. Flat out. Working part-time jobs just to survive. He had no connections, no wealthy family, and a mountain of debt. What he did have: a busted laptop, a dream to teach music, and 2 hours a day. He could have said, I'll wait until I have better gear, better skills, more time. But he didn't. He started filming free tutorials with bad lighting and no mic, just passion and persistence. 3 years later, he runs a 6-figure online music school and helps students across the world. What changed? The dirt didn't stop him. He used it. Your story is your superpower. So many of us try to hide our past. We cover up the pain, the mess, the years we feel ashamed of. But what if that's the very thing that will connect you to others? What if your story, the full, unfiltered version, is the thing that someone else needs to hear? What if you could stop running from your past and start building with it? The worst things you've been through can become the strongest parts of your foundation if you're willing to stop hiding them and start honoring them. Turn the dirt into bricks. Here's how to begin turning pain into power. Acknowledge it. Stop pretending it didn't happen. Name the experience. Own it. Extract the lesson. Every struggle carries wisdom. What did it teach you? Resilience? Boundaries? Patience? Strength? Share the strength. Use it to help someone else. Turn it into art, advice, mentorship, a message. That's how pain becomes purpose. The foundation isn't glamorous, but it's necessary. The stuff you're building your life with, the dirt, the hurt, The setbacks, it might not look impressive right now, but it's durable, real, tested. When life gets hard later, and what you build on this dirt will stand. Anyone can build when the sun is shining, but you're learning to build in the rain, and that's what makes you unstoppable. Reflection. What's one painful experience you've been trying to ignore or hide? What might it be trying to teach you? Action step. Write it down. Then list 3 strengths you gained because of it. Turn one of those strengths into something you can act on this week, whether it's helping someone else, creating something, or starting a new chapter. Examples. Use your heartbreak to write a blog post about healing. Use your past debt story to help someone avoid your mistakes. Use your failure to mentor someone starting their own journey. Remember, you were never buried. You were planted. Now it's your season to rise. Let's build something unshakable, right here, right now, with what you've been through. You have more than you think. The question is, will you use it? Let's go to work. Chapter 4. Comparison is a thief and a liar. Focus on your lane. Let's talk about one of the greatest dream killers of our generation. It's not laziness. It's not lack of talent. It's not failure. It's comparison. Quiet. Subtle. Always watching. It sneaks into your mind through your feed, your conversations, your thoughts. And it whispers. You're not doing enough. You're falling behind. Look at them. Why aren't you there yet? Sound familiar? Yeah, we've all been there. The comparison trap. We used to compare ourselves to people in our neighborhood. Now we compare ourselves to billions of people, curated and filtered online. You scroll, you tap, you watch, and suddenly, your life doesn't feel like it measures up. Someone's traveling the world while you're just surviving your 9 to 5. Someone's business hit 6 figures, and you're still figuring out your logo. Someone posted their engagement, and you're trying to get a text back. But here's the truth behind all that polished perfection. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. They're showing the peak. You're feeling the climb. It's not a fair fight. Your mind on comparison. Comparison doesn't just make you feel bad. It distracts you from your own journey. It drains your focus. It poisons your self-belief. It makes you question your pace, your purpose, your progress. And worst of all, it turns inspiration into intimidation. You stop learning from others and start shrinking because of them. But you know what? The only person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. Run your own race. Imagine a runner in a race. They start strong. They're doing great. Then halfway through, they look at the runner in the next lane and trip. That's what comparison does. You lose momentum the moment you stop focusing on your own track. Someone else's success isn't your failure. Someone else's speed isn't your deadline. Someone else's chapter 20 doesn't mean your chapter 3 is worthless. You've got your own story to live. Don't sabotage it trying to edit someone else's. Mirror before window. Here's a mindset shift. Before you look out the window at what others are doing, look in the mirror. What have you done lately that deserves to be celebrated? Even if it's small. Did you show up today despite the fear? Did you make progress on your idea, even if nobody noticed? Did you keep going when it would have been easier to quit? That matters. You matter. Your path matters. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Real talk. Stop scrolling. Start building. If you're feeling stuck right now, overwhelmed, or not good enough, do this. Take a break from the scroll. Unplug. Unfollow. Take back control of your mental space. And start creating, not comparing. Because the person you're watching online, they started small too. They started scared too. And they kept showing up. Now it's your turn. Reflection. Who or what triggers your comparison spiral the most? Is it someone on social media? A friend's success? A sibling's path? Action step. Unfollow, mute, or step back from that trigger, just for a week. Then, do the mirror before window exercise. Write down 3 things you're proud of from the past 7 days, no matter how small. Examples. I reached out to a client even though I was nervous. I made time to journal and reset. I stuck to my habit for 3 days in a row. Let those small wins fuel you. Let your journey be enough. You are not in a race with anyone. You're not falling behind. You're just getting started. Comparison may lie to you, but your growth, your effort, your progress, that's the truth. Keep showing up for you. Chapter 5. Momentum beats motivation. Build wins, not just hype. Here's a hard truth most people never tell you. Motivation is unreliable. Some days it shows up. Most days, it doesn't. You can watch a motivational video, feel supercharged for 30 minutes, and then still procrastinate for 3 more hours. Why? Because motivation is an emotion, not a strategy. It's a spark, not fuel. It's great for getting you off the couch, but terrible for keeping you consistent. If you rely on motivation to build your dreams, you'll only work when you feel like it. And let's be honest, you won't always feel like it. So what's the solution? You build momentum. What is momentum? Momentum is movement that fuels more movement. It's when the tiniest bit of action starts generating energy. Think of a flywheel. Heavy, hard to move at first. But once it starts spinning, it takes less energy to keep it going and more effort to stop it. That's momentum. And when you have it, you don't need to wait for the right mood. You're already moving. You're already building. You become your own motivation. Small wins compound fast. The secret to momentum isn't doing something massive. It's doing something consistent, no matter how small. Write 1 paragraph, not a whole book. Walk for 10 minutes, not an hour. Make 1 sales call, not 20. Post 1 idea, not a polished masterpiece. Because small wins stack up, and suddenly you're not stuck anymore. You're in motion, and motion creates results. The 15-minute rule. Here's a simple, powerful strategy. If a task feels too big, commit to doing it for just 15 minutes. That's it. Not finish the project. Just start it for 15 minutes. Why? Because action defeats resistance. And 15 minutes is enough to trick your brain into beginning. And once you begin, you often keep going. Try it. Set a timer. Remove distractions. Work without judgment. Even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, you're building momentum. Meet Charlotte. She was a full-time teacher with 2 kids and a deep desire to become a painter. But she kept saying, "I'm too tired. I don't have time, maybe next year." Then one day, she tried the 15-minute rule. She painted a small canvas while the kids napped. She did it again the next day, and the next. 6 months later, she launched an online shop. Her art is now hanging in homes across 3 continents. She didn't wait for motivation. She built momentum 15 minutes at a time. Build a system, not a mood. Successful people don't have more motivation. They have systems, habits, routines, triggers, accountability. They don't ask, "Do I feel like working on my dream today?" They ask, "What's the next step on my calendar?" Motivation is optional. Systems are non-negotiable. The discipline loop. Here's the loop you want to live in. Do something small, even when you don't feel like it. Get a win. Feel a little pride. Do it again tomorrow. Now you've got momentum. Do this enough times, and you won't need to be pushed. You'll be pulled by your own progress. Reflection. What's one area of your life where you keep waiting for motivation? What tiny step could you take instead today to build momentum? Action step. Pick one action you can do for just 15 minutes today. Set a timer. Do the work. Stop judging it. Just start. Examples. Write. Don't edit. Record the video. Don't overthink. Workout. Don't wait for energy. Pitch your offer. Don't fear rejection. Then repeat it tomorrow. And the next day. Soon, you won't just be starting anymore. You'll be moving with force, with confidence, with speed. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel inspired. You need to move. Because movement builds momentum. And momentum? That builds your future. Chapter 6. Consistency over intensity. Why 1% every day wins? Let's be real. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they're inconsistent. They start strong. They sprint for a few days, maybe a week. And then, life happens. Distractions pop up. Doubt creeps in. And suddenly, they stop. Sound familiar? We live in a culture obsessed with hype and hustle. But the truth is, intensity impresses people. Consistency changes your life. Big effort doesn't guarantee big results. Have you ever gone super hard at something for a short time? The 5-day juice cleanse. The 3 a.m. grind sessions. The sudden all-in workout streak that lasts 6 days? We chase extreme effort, thinking it'll deliver extreme success. But what actually builds success? Doing the small things over and over without quitting. Even when you're bored. Even when no one's watching. Even when you don't feel like it. That's what creates transformation. The compound effect. Let me show you some math magic. If you improve just 1% every day, do you know what happens after a year? You don't get 365% better. You get 37x better. That's the power of compounding effort. Little habits repeated over time don't just add up, they multiply. Consistency doesn't feel dramatic. but it delivers dramatic results. Build routines that remove thinking. One of the biggest secrets to consistency is this. Don't leave your success up to willpower. Design your life so that action is the default. Set routines. Create triggers. Automate decisions. Want to read more? Put your book on your pillow. Want to write daily? Block the same 30 minutes each morning. Want to eat better? Prep your meals every Sunday. Remove friction. Remove choice. Make it easier to do the right thing than to skip it. That's how consistency wins. Discipline is a muscle. Let's stop pretending discipline is some magical gift you either have or don't. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it. The first reps feel heavy. But keep going, and it gets easier. You don't have to be extreme. You just have to be committed. Real story. The writer who stayed the course. Let me tell you about Grace. She wanted to write a book. But every time she tried, she'd go hard for a few days, then fall off. Until one day, she made a new rule. I'll write just 200 words a day. No excuses. Some days she wrote more. Some days she barely hit the mark. But she kept going, daily. 1 year later, her book was done. Self-published. Sold 5,000 copies. Not because she was fast, but because she was faithful. Trust the process, not the pace. Here's a mindset shift. You don't need to go fast. You just need to go consistently. Even if you're crawling, you're still moving forward. And that's more than most people ever do. When you stay consistent, you build evidence that you're someone who shows up, and that evidence turns into identity. I'm a finisher. I follow through. I do the work. That's power. Hammer and wrench reflection plus action step. Reflection. Where in your life are you chasing intensity instead of committing to consistency? Action step. Pick one habit you can do daily, even at the smallest level. Examples. 10 push-ups. 200 words. 15-minute business outreach. 1 glass of water first thing in the morning. 5 minutes silence or prayer. Reading 1 page. Commit to doing it every day for the next 7 days. Track your streak. Build your identity. Don't break the chain. You don't need to do it all today. You don't need to do it perfectly. You just need to do it again tomorrow. Because consistency beats talent. Consistency beats luck. Consistency, done quietly, wins loudly. Let's keep showing up. Chapter 7. Your network begins where you are. Start with who you know, grow from there. When most people hear the word network, they picture this. A fancy event. A room full of successful strangers. Name tags. Handshakes. Business cards. Suits. And for most people, that image feels intimidating. Fake. Exhausting. But that's not what real networking is. Real networking isn't about collecting contacts. It's about building connections. And guess what? You don't need a huge following, rich friends, or VIP access to start. You already know someone who knows someone. Your network has already started. You just haven't activated it yet. Stop waiting for perfect people. We often think we need to find a mentor with a blue checkmark or a millionaire friend before we can start growing. But that mindset keeps you blind to the actual resources around you. That coworker who's really good at spreadsheets? Potential collaborator. That cousin who's run a small business? Potential advisor. That friend who posts great content online? Learn from them. That guy at church who knows everyone? Connect through him. Stop looking up. Start looking around. Your network isn't something you need to chase. It's something you need to notice. Start with intentional conversations. You don't need to pitch anyone. You just need to start talking with purpose. Ask questions like, what are you working on right now? What's one thing you've learned recently? Is there anything you're stuck on that I might help with? Mind if I share something I'm building? You'll be amazed how much people want to help if you simply start the conversation. And remember, the person you encourage today might be the one who opens a door for you tomorrow. Give before you ask. Want to really grow your network? Be a giver, not just a taker. Don't just think, how can they help me? Ask, how can I help them, even in a small way? Can you share their project? Recommend a tool? Introduce them to someone? Encourage them publicly? Buy from their small business? These little gestures build relational capital. And that capital pays off, often when you least expect it. Your next big opportunity is a DM away. We underestimate how close we are to our next breakthrough. One message, one post, one conversation. You don't need to be famous. You just need to be willing to reach out. Send that email. Reply to that story. Follow up with that old friend. Start the group chat. Join the community. Closed mouths don't get fed. Closed networks don't grow. Your next client, coach, collaborator, or co-founder might already be watching you, just waiting for a reason to connect. Real story, from group chat to global reach. James was stuck. He wanted to launch a podcast, but had no guests, no gear, and no guidance. So he started a small accountability group chat with 4 friends: a teacher, a poet, a designer, and a student. They encouraged him, helped him edit, shared his show when it dropped. 6 months later, one of those friends introduced him to a guest who had a large audience. That one episode tripled his following, all from a group chat. He didn't start with influence. He started with intention. It's not who you know, it's how you show up. You don't need to know the right people. You need to be the right person. The kind of person who follows up, shows up, adds value, encourages others, stays consistent. That's the kind of person people remember and recommend. Reflection. Who are 3 people in your current circle that you've overlooked as possible collaborators, encouragers, or connectors? Action step. Reach out to one person this week with a clear message. Give encouragement. Offer help. Ask a thoughtful question. Propose a small collaboration. Bonus. Join one online community, forum, or group related to your passion or goals. Introduce yourself. Be visible. You don't need more followers to build your future. You just need the courage to start the conversation. Your network already exists. Now it's time to unlock it. Chapter 8. Do it ugly. Do it anyway. Start imperfect. Start now. Let's get this out of the way. Your first version won't be your best. Your first product, your first post, your first pitch, your first draft, it will feel awkward, messy, and not quite right. And that's okay. Ugly starts lead to beautiful progress. But perfection? That'll paralyze you every time. Perfection is a fancy name for fear. Let's call it what it is. When we say, "I'm just a perfectionist," what we often mean is, "I'm afraid I'll be judged. I'm afraid it won't be good enough. I'm afraid of failing in public. I'm afraid I'll disappoint myself." And so what do? We stall. We overthink. We keep polishing something that no one has even seen yet. And worst of all, we never launch. But if you wait until it's perfect, you'll be waiting forever. Done is better than perfect. Let's flip the goal. Don't aim for flawless. Aim for finished. The first version isn't supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be published. Because once it's out there, something amazing happens. You get feedback. You learn what works. You improve faster. But you can't fix what you never ship. Real progress is messy. Think about the best in the world at anything: authors, artists, entrepreneurs, creators. Their early work? It wasn't genius. It was clumsy, basic, sometimes even bad. But they got better because they did it anyway. They posted the shaky video, launched the ugly website, shared the vulnerable story, sold the first messy product. And every ugly version got them one step closer to excellent. The cringeworthy first launch. Jasmine wanted to launch a coaching program. She spent 6 months designing a perfect landing page. Perfect colors, fonts, photos, branding. When she finally launched, nobody signed up. Devastated, she almost quit. But then, she tried again, this time with a simple email and a 10-minute video. No perfection, just clarity and heart. She sold out the beta group. She didn't need perfection. She needed connection. The fear of being seen imperfect. One of the hardest parts of starting ugly is this. You have to let people see you before you're great. That's vulnerable. It's risky. It feels like walking into a room half-dressed. But here's the secret. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with progress. Your courage to be real might be the exact reason someone says, "If they can start like that, maybe I can too." You don't inspire people by being untouchably perfect. You inspire them by being boldly honest. Turn cringe into clarity. Cringe is a good sign. It means you've grown. It means you're moving. Your early work should embarrass your future self. That's how you know you're leveling up. So stop deleting your first attempts. Use them as mile markers. Proof that you had the guts to begin. Reflection. What have you been delaying because you're waiting for it to be perfect? Action step. Pick one thing you've been stuck on and do it ugly this week. Examples. Publish the rough blog post. Post the video without over-editing. Offer the service before the website is done. Sell the idea even if it's still in draft mode. Bonus challenge. Share your ugly start publicly and own it. Say, This isn't perfect, but I'm proud to start. You'll be amazed at how people cheer for realness more than refinement. Remember, messy action beats perfect inaction every single time. Your first draft doesn't define you. Your consistency does. So do it scared. Do it messy. Do it ugly. Just do it anyway. You'll figure the rest out as you go. Chapter 9. Build in public. Share the process, not just the product. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you watched someone figure it out in real time and felt connected to them? That's what it means to build in public. You let people in. You share not just the results, but the process. You don't wait until it's perfect, viral, or polished. You say, here's where I'm at. Here's what I'm working on. Here's what I've learned so far. It's honest. It's raw. And it's powerful. Perfection is the old game. Transparency is the new one. In the past, we were taught to hide the struggle. Only show up when you've made it. Only speak when you're the expert. But in today's world, people don't want perfect. They want real. They want to grow with you, not just watch from the sidelines. They want to trust your authenticity more than your aesthetic. And guess what? You don't build trust by showing people your final product. You build it by letting them walk with you while it's still messy. Document. Don't just create. You don't have to manufacture something spectacular every day. You can document instead. Working on a project? Share what you're learning. Facing a challenge? Share how you're navigating it. Making progress? Share the milestones, big or small. Figuring it out? Say that. Be that. Let people see your steps, not just your destination. This is how you create connection and community. The creator who let people in. Deo was building an app, but didn't know how to code. Instead of waiting to launch something perfect, he posted updates every week. Wins, fails, doubts, progress. People started paying attention. They encouraged him, shared ideas, sent tools. One even offered to help code it for free. 6 months later, his project wasn't just live, it had a built-in audience because they watched it grow. That's the power of building in public. People support what they help build. When people feel like they're part of your journey, they're more likely to share your work, buy your product, cheer you on, offer solutions. Stick around for the long game. Why? Because it's no longer your project, it's ours. People buy into your process before they ever buy your product. So let them in. Show up loud, even before you're known. You don't need a big platform to build in public. Start where you are. Use what you have. Tweet your lessons. Post behind the scenes on Instagram. Start a weekly progress recap on LinkedIn. Film a raw video. Write a thread or journal out loud. Speak before you're ready. Share before you make it. You're not showing off, you're showing up. From isolation to community. When you build in public, you stop operating in isolation. You start creating a feedback loop. You speak. People respond. You learn. You adapt. You grow faster. This isn't just about exposure. It's about accountability. It's about belonging. It's about becoming visible to others and to yourself. Reflection. What part of your journey have you been keeping private because you're waiting for it to look right? Action step. Choose one thing you're working on, learning, or struggling with right now, and share it publicly. Examples. A screenshot of your progress. A short caption about what you're building. A list of lessons you've learned. A 1-minute voice or video reflection. A tweet or thread that simply says, here's what I'm working on. Let people in, not to impress them, but to connect with them. Your journey is worth sharing, not because it's perfect, but because it's real, brave, and happening right now. You don't have to build alone. Build in public and watch community show up. Let's finish strong. Chapter 10. You already have what it takes. The permission you've been waiting for is yours to give. Let's pause and look at where you are right now. You've made it through doubt, through delay, through distraction. You've unpacked fear, resistance, comparison, and imperfection. And here's the truth that's been waiting for you this whole time. You already have what it takes. Not someday. Not after the degree. Not after you get more followers, more money, more motivation. Right now, with what's in your hands, with what's in your heart, with what's in your story, you're not missing anything. You may have been told your whole life that you're not enough yet. You need more experience. You need more resources. You need someone to pick you. But you've been misled. Because greatness doesn't start with more. It starts with belief. It starts with ownership. It starts when you stop looking outside and start pulling from within. Everything you need to begin is already inside of you. And everything else, you'll learn along the way. Stop waiting to be chosen. Here's a revolutionary idea. You don't need permission. You are the permission. You don't have to wait for a big break, a job title, a green light, an expert to validate you, 1,000 likes. Your value doesn't increase with visibility. Your voice doesn't get stronger because of approval. You become powerful when you choose to show up anyway. Because the moment you decide you're enough, you are. You've been becoming this whole time. That hard season you thought broke you, it actually built something in you. That delay that frustrated you, it gave you patience, grit, strategy. That failure that embarrassed you, it taught you what not to do and made you more resilient. You haven't just been waiting. You've been preparing. Whether you realized it or not, you didn't waste time. You were being forged for this moment. Real story, the invisible season. Victor was working a job he hated. No growth, no recognition, no creativity. But every night, he wrote stories. Quietly, with no audience. Just discipline. Years passed. No success. Then one day, a friend read one of his drafts and shared it with a publisher. That one story became his first book deal. What looked like a dead end was actually training camp. What felt invisible was deeply important. Just because no one sees you doesn't mean you're not growing. You're not late, you're aligned. There's no such thing as too late when you're stepping into your calling. Comparison is loud. But purpose? Purpose is patient. It waits. It whispers. It waits for you to be ready to answer. And if you've made it to this chapter, you're ready. Not perfect, not fearless, but ready enough to begin. Reflection. What belief about yourself or your path are you ready to let go of? What truth will you choose to replace it with? Action step. Write this out and say it out loud. I already have what it takes. I will not wait for perfect. I will not wait to be chosen. I will start now with what I have. Now, do one bold thing this week that reflects that truth. Launch. Pitch. Publish. Ask. Build. Begin. You don't need to move mountains today. You just need to take the next step. With trembling hands if you have to. With shaky words if you must. With faith the size of a seed. Because when you start where you are, you become unstoppable. Not because you have it all together, but because you started anyway. This is your moment. This is your launch. This is your beginning. You already have what it takes. Now go prove it to yourself. This is where it begins. So here you are. You made it to the end. Or rather, the beginning. Because this wasn't just a book. It was a mirror, a spark, a reminder that your journey doesn't need a perfect start. It just needs your start. You don't need all the answers to begin. You don't need a spotlight to matter. You don't need approval to be powerful. What you do need, the decision to move, the courage to try, the boldness to show up as you are, where you are with what you have. Right now. Not someday. Not when you feel ready. Not when the stars align. Now. Because the longer you wait, the further your dream drifts. But the moment you take action, the moment you say yes to your calling, the path unfolds beneath your feet. So here's your final reminder. Start messy. Start scared. Start small. Start over if you have to. But start. You've got something the world needs. And it won't be found in perfection. It'll be found in your persistence. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not behind. You are becoming. Let this be your turning point. From stuck to started. From dreaming to doing. From waiting to walking forward. One brave step at a time. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. And never look back. Your future is waiting.